Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely. Always ready to jump into the crypto world.
Well, this week, we're going to unpack what went down in the markets, last week.
Yeah.
Trying to make sense of it all and get a feel for what might be coming next.
Sounds good. Always a lot to cover.
Yeah, for sure. We're looking at the crypto market recap for the week of October 21st to the 27th, 2024.
Okay.
And, well, the crypto world, it's rarely calm.
Right. Never a dull moment.
Exactly. And this week was no exception. I mean, there was a lot of movement, but also this kind of feeling of like everyone holding their breath, waiting for the next big thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Like a calm before the storm kind of vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by the end of this deep dive, you'll know what happened with Bitcoin, Ethereum.
The big two.
Yeah, the big two. But you'll also get a sense of like which factors, regulations, global economics, that sort of thing, could really shake things up in the coming week.
Definitely important to keep an eye on those.
Oh, and we'll also touch on some interesting movements in the altcoin space, some things happening there that are worth a look.
Cool.
All right, so first things first. Bitcoin and Ethereum. What went down?
So last week was a week of what we call consolidation for both of them.
Consolidation, all right.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly for, those of us who aren't like professional traders?
Sure. So technically speaking, it means a period of reduced volatility and trading volume, after a period of significant movement. So basically, the market's taking a breather.
Gotcha. So like a runner, pausing to catch their breath before that final sprint.
Exactly. That's a great analogy. We see this reflected in the technical indicators too, like trading volume decreasing and price action finding support at certain levels. Bitcoin and Ethereum both saw some pretty impressive gains recently, and now they're just kind of stabilizing, potentially gathering energy for the next big move.
Interesting. So it's like a pause, but not necessarily a sign that things are slowing down.
Right. Could be the opposite.
Okay, that makes sense. So while the big players were taking a break, what was going on with the altcoins?
It was a mixed bag for altcoins, for sure. Solana and Cardano, they saw some pretty significant gains.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, likely fueled by, growing adoption in the DeFi space. That's decentralized finance.
Right. I hear that a lot. DeFi.
Yeah, it's a hot area. Basically, investors are increasingly looking beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum, seeking returns in those newer projects, potentially more room for growth there.
So it's kind of like people are always searching for the next big thing, the next Bitcoin, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But not all altcoins were so lucky, were they?
True. Polygon and Shiba Inu, for instance, they experienced some dips this week.
I see.
And, it's important to remember that the altcoin market is, it's known for being volatile. It often reacts more dramatically to market sentiment and news compared to the big two.
Right, which kind of reminds me of another thing that can make investors nervous.
What's up?
The regulatory side of things.
Yeah.
All those discussions and debates going on.
Yeah, for sure. The regulatory discussions, especially in the U.S., they're definitely creating uncertainty in the market. Any news coming from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC?
Yeah, the SEC.
That could have a ripple effect, a big one.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game right now, and, it makes investors a bit hesitant.
It's like a will they, won't they kind of situation. Keeps everyone on edge.
Exactly.
And it's not just what's happening in the U.S. that matters, right?
Yeah.
The crypto market is also sensitive to what's going on in the global economy.
Oh, absolutely. Global economics plays a huge role. Things like interest rates and inflation, the stuff that impacts our everyday grocery bills.
Yeah, real world stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It can influence how people invest, including in crypto. A strong global economy tends to boost investor confidence and vice versa.
Makes sense. It's crazy how everything is interconnected from the price of milk to what's happening with Bitcoin.
It really is.
So with all these factors swirling around, what's your take on the outlook for the coming week?
Well, the coming week could be a bit of a wild ride, to be honest. We could see some pretty significant gains. What they call a bull run.
Bull run, I love those.
Right. Yeah, who doesn't? But we could also see some dips, a correction. So a bull run is basically a period of sustained price increases driven by strong buying pressure.
Okay.
A correction, on the other hand, is a decline of 10% or more from recent highs, often a sign that the market is getting a little overheated.
So is there any way to know which way it might go?
Well, there are 3 key things to watch, I think.
All right, lay it on me.
First, any news from the SEC, they're the big ones to watch because they can really move the market.
Got it. What else?
Second, keep an eye on global economic indicators. Any surprises there could spook investors and lead to a sell-off.
Makes sense.
And lastly, there's technical analysis.
Yeah, right. The charts and patterns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where analysts study chart patterns and indicators to try to predict potential price movements.
Cool.
It gets pretty complex, but that's the gist of it.
Okay, so to sum it all up,
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the crypto market's at a bit of a crossroads right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. A lot of factors could push it in different directions.
So exciting times.
Definitely exciting times. Makes it a really fascinating time to be watching the market for sure.
I agree.
Actually makes me wonder, if you were an investor right now, what would be your biggest concern or maybe the biggest opportunity you'd be watching for? Just something to think about.
That is a good question. Lots to ponder as we head into the next week.
For sure.
And as always, everyone, do your own research. Understand your risk tolerance, and please don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. The crypto world is it's full of possibilities, but it can be a wild ride for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.
See ya.